Once the body's relaxed, just bring your attention to the breath and think in terms of the body breathing on its own. So there's no intentional manipulation of the breath. Our primary activity will be to experience the natural breath in a way that we have really never done so before. We begin by simply noticing the breath when we are drawing air into the body. Now take notice of the breath as it leaves the body on each exhalation. And take a few moments and notice the inhalation, the air coming into the body. And just continue breathing normally. But while exhaling the breath, bring your attention to and find the pause or the gap that can be found at the end of the exhalation. This pause can be found immediately before you breathe in. And do this again after you exhale. Notice the gap before you inhale. Don't make it any longer or shorter, or just noticing it. Breathe in and exhale, noticing the gap. And breathe again. Now do this on your own for a little while. Exhale and notice the gap. And then breathe in. So this noticing of the gap after the exhalation is the factor that determines the long breath. We breathe out, there is a gap, and then we breathe in. Keep your awareness on the gap after the exhalation of the breath. And stay with the gap as we inhale and exhale. So here we're keeping our awareness on the gap. We're not following the breath as it flows in and out of the body. We're not noticing the air coming into or leaving the body. We're not noticing anything except for the gap. And see if you can experience the breathing in and then breathing out while keeping your attention on the gap throughout the complete inhalation and exhalation. Now notice how this way of breathing and this way of focusing on the breath affects you. Is this way of focusing on the breath calming and relaxing? The long breath is used to still the mind, to still it of its many thoughts, and to relax the body. Simply place your attention on the bottom of the exhalation. Notice the gap and breathe. And this is the long breath. And now if you're familiar with the long breath, we can move on to the short breath, the second step of the Anapanasati. Keeping the eyes closed. The short breath is used to bring energy into the body. Energy is something that we need in meditation. Again, we're not manipulating the breath, but are centering our focus on the aspect of the breath, just as we did with the long breath. We work with the gap. The short breath is the opposite of the long breath. The breathing is identical, it's the same, but our point of focus is the opposite. As we inhale, notice how we meet with the gap at the top of the inhalation. It's there that each time we breathe inward, it's always there. And immediately after landing on the gap, we begin to exhale. It's that point where we're not breathing. That's why it's considered a gap. We meet the gap at the top of our inhalation, our point of focus, and then we exhale. And breathe through it and continue breathing. Now see if you can rest your attention on that gap. After the inhalation, and it should feel energizing. It should feel completely different than the long breath. Breathing in, feel the gap. Breathing out. Breathing in, keep your attention on the gap. Breathing out. Keeping your focus on the gap while continuing to breathe through it. Just simply breathing in and breathing out. Do this on your own and notice how it creates energy and alertness in the mind and body. Simply breathing in and breathing out. And now as you get comfortable with a long and a short breath, these meditations, you can alternate between them. You can incorporate relaxation and energy wherever you desire. And you can even do it alternatively Breathing in, feeling the top of the inhalation, and breathing out, feeling the relaxation. Breathing in, feeling energized. Exhaling, being relaxed at the same time. If your attention wanders away like it often normally does, just bring it back, come back to the practice. At some point you might want to make a choice of which breath you're working with. You always want to make that intention. Am I working with the long breath? Am I trying to calm the mind and body? Or am I trying to bring a little bit of energy into the body, focusing on the top, the gap on top, the short breath? Thank you. You can open your eyes.